All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of How Do I Do This Anyways? Today, what we're going to be doing is playing with our automatas more, but we're going to be putting a follower in here that we want to spin horizontally. So, not going up and down, although it will do that for this case. I want it to spin around on the top. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place our bushing first. Okay. So, we have been using these follower bushings that were the square 7 millimeter. We now need to use one of these ones that's a 1/4 inch dowel rod. Open that thing up, and I'm going to drop it right there and hit escape. Now, something that I notice here, I don't have an axis and I don't have a work plane through here. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to grab my axis tool and I'm going to put an axis in there. And I'm also going to go ahead and turn on one of the work planes to the origin of this thing, or well, see what's there. Maybe I'll use a work plane in the origin. Maybe I'll have to build my own. That one actually looks like it'll be good. Let's check that. Yep. Visibility of that is good. All right, going right through the center. Okay, so I can go ahead and click return because now I have a work plane to play with to lock this to the box. So let's go ahead and constrain that part. I'm going to use an insert constraint. So that way I can do it in one shot. Click that surface and then click that thing. And now it's locked in there. Apply, cancel. It doesn't move around like left, right, up, down, but it'll spin. And I hate it when things spin. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to lock this work plane here to this work plane right here. Yep, that looks good. Apply, cancel it. Moving around and nothing's there. So now we need a follower rod. So I didn't give you a follower rod, so you're going to have to make one. It shouldn't be too difficult. It should be fairly quick because it is literally a 1/4 inch dowel rod. So if you know how to make a 1/4 inch dowel rod, then you don't need to be listening to me in this conversation. But if you do not know how to make a 1/4 inch dowel rod, then hopefully you follow the clicks. Boom, done. Now, my 1/4 inch dowel rod is a 1/4 inch in diameter, 6 inches long. You can make it however long you want to make the thing. The important part is that we put an axis through it because we want that geometry to line up through. And we also want to make sure that we have a work plane that's going through the length of the thing in order to actually line up. So I'm going to turn the visibility on that work plane because that's looking good. And now I'm going to go ahead and say File, Save. But I got to make sure I put it in my project folder. So I'm going to call this dowel follower rod. Save. Can you tell I've done this before? Okay, cool. So now I got my dowel follower rod. Happiness. Now I got to place this in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that place button. And I'm going to click the part that I just done made. Click okie dokie. And I'm going to drop one of these in there. Nothing really fancy about this so far. So I'm going to go axis. Yeah. To axis of the bushing. That happy clicks means it should be good. Click apply. Now I'm going to click cancel. And I cannot move this left or right. Okay. I can move this up and down and I could move it through the box, but I don't want to. So now I do not want to keep this thing from spinning though. So do not make any more constraints other than the one that I've just made on the axis to the axis. Now I'm going to go ahead and place the roller, but it is going to be the, let's see here. Follower and roller. Disc. Follower and disc. That one. Open that up. And now I click there. And that places my part. Now, again, I need geometry to line this up with. So I got to double click this thing. And I'm going to place an axis in the center. There. Okay. Now I'm also going to see what work planes are already available. I want that one. Where's my visibility? Maybe that one. There, visibility, happiness, right there. Good. All right, so now I'm going to return back to my part file. Now I'm going to go ahead and constrain the axis to the axis. Apply it. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure the bottom of this disc is flush with the bottom of that rod. So I'm going to go ahead and use a flush constraint to do exactly that. Bottom of the disc, bottom of the rod, apply. Cool. So now I can spin this thing, but you see how the disc is spinning and the rod is not? We need those two to move together. So I'm going to go ahead and constrain the disc to the rod, apply. So now when I look at this thing, I move the disc, the rod moves with it. Now we are ready to play with the cam. Just going to drag that in there just for the sake of it looking like it's in the right spot. When you are placing your cam, you either want to use a roller for this or these eccentric circles, whichever one you feel like. I'm just going to click the eccentric circle because I like the up and down motion in addition to the going and spinning in circles. Those are much more fun of roller coasters. Now, I'm looking here. I have my axis in the middle of this, and I have my mid plane. So if you don't have both of those, I would suggest you double click on the part and add that geometry to it. Okay, I don't have to do that here. I'm going to go ahead and constrain it. First off, axis of the cam to the axis of the axle. Apply. Now, I want to go ahead and make sure that this is up when this other stuff is down. So I'm going to align it like that, and I'm going to say that work plane to that work plane. You see how it flipped it upside down? I don't want it to be like that, so I want to go ahead and make it a flush constraint. You can flip the direction by flipping those, okay? Apply. Now, click cancel for a second, and I should be able to see this thing move with the handle. If you can't, you have done something wrong. Fix that now. But I can still slide this thing over like this. I found that the easiest way to constrain this thing in place is to literally just grab a mate constraint between that surface, that work plane, the bisecting work plane, and then this work surface of the Automata box. That one. Okay. Now, you see how it lined up dead under it? We don't want to be like that. If we want this to look realistic, we want it to be offset. So I'm going to say offset it by 3/8. Ooh, I want it to go the other way. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm going to put a negative 3/8. That looks much better to me. Okay, so now cancel. So now this doesn't want to move, but it's also not locked to this at all. We need to go through a multi-step process to lock those two together. So what you want to do is click your constraint tool, and you want to use a tangent constraint first. Okay, we're going to constrain that surface to that surface at first. Okay, we're going to apply that, cancel it out, and what that's going to do is it's going to, it worked this time. Cool. That puts the two surfaces in contact with one another. If you're having difficulty making a constraint between two cams, do the tangent constraint to lock the two together, and then do your traditional translational constraint. Okay, that to that, apply. Cancel, it won't let me. Whatever. The tangent's working right now. After you've made the translational constraint, you would want to delete the tangential constraint after that. Okay? In fact, I can suppress that, and then I can make my translational constraint between that surface and that surface. Not going to let me this time. Cool. Either way, it's working right now. I'm going to unsuppress it, and I'm going to enjoy this happiness of it going like this. but it is an incomplete happiness because I want it to spin also. And to get it to do that, I want to put a motion constraint on there. And I'm going to put that motion constraint between that surface, because when I want that surface to spin, I want this bottom of the cam or the follower to spin along with it. Click apply, click cancel. Now, when I turn it, the follower rod spins right along with it. So, hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. But take care.